In this program, we are celebrating great road trips because the going is often more memorable than the getting there. Road trips that open up a landscape and introduce you to its people. Our road warriors include Ian Wright, Justine Shapiro, Megan McCormick, Andrew Dado, Neil Gibson, Estelle Bingham, Jonathan Atherton, and Nikki Gross. It may seem strange to start a program called Road Warriors with off-road, but in some parts of the world, these are the roads. And if you want to get remote, there are times when only a four-wheel drive will do. These are great off-road journeys you could only attempt with a four-wheel drive or a camel. The Libyan Sahara, and Ian Wright is riding the dunes.
This is what I've chosen to get me through the desert. If you're going to go long distances, it's the only way. From Sabah to Douala, which is right in the middle of the desert, it's only 3 hours through some of the most beautiful sand dunes I've ever seen.
The whole area is known as the Abari Sand Sea. And I'm heading for the oasis of Douala, which lies at its heart.
Look at this. This is incredible, man, I tell you. What amazes me is how good these drivers are. So if you're going to get a driver, you've got to make sure they're like tops. Because I can't even see some of the sand, and it just, suddenly you're down, suddenly you're up. It's just madness, but I'm in safe hands.
Here, a 4x4 really comes into its own, as all 4 wheels are powered by the engine, giving them more grip and control on moving surfaces such as sand, mud, or on rough ground.
It better not be a mirage. Whoa, look at that. Whew.
At the other end of the African continent, you wouldn't even consider the trip to the 10,000-foot Sani Pass from South Africa to Lesotho without taking a 4-wheel drive, because here there are no paved roads. This was once an old mule track, and it's not much different now. 4-wheel drives have a second low-ratio gearbox, allowing the wheels to rotate at a slower speed, giving more power on steep slopes and other tricky terrain. And because they're higher off the ground, there's more clearance in case of boulders and potholes. Lesotho's high mountain pastures have earned it the name Kingdom of the Sky. And with these amazing views come some seriously dizzying bends. Accidents are common, and watch out for animals on the roads.
All right, let's go, Ranger Dave.
Let's go. We're used to seeing 4-wheel drives on the roads, but when it comes to off-road, you may need a few lessons. Fraser Island off Queensland, Australia, is one gigantic sandbar without roads. And driving here needs a whole new set of skills because it's easy to roll the Jeep or drive into the waves, and that will get you a $2,000 fine. But you can rent a Jeep for a day and get a quick lesson thrown in for only $50, which is just what Megan does.
See how you're actually driving a little bit far down here? If a wave comes up there, it can actually trick you. See how quick the waves come up? So you better get up high. No! Stay up. What happens is sometimes people see a wave coming up like that. Yes. Without thinking, they swerve to miss it.
Yes. And
the thing is, on sand, your tyres will actually dig into the sand and you can tip a car over at 30 kilometres an hour.
There are no paved roads on Fraser. 20,000 vehicles drive along its beaches or over its dunes each year.
Truck! Yeah, okay, so what you can do now, you've got to put your left-hand indicator on,
Left-hand indicator.
And you're passing on the top side.
Okay. Hey! Turn them off.
Turn the wipers on. No, you've turned the wipers on.
Hello.
Faster, go faster, faster, faster. See that wave?
Yeah.
If we get stuck here, that wave will be all around us. Notice there's nowhere to go.
You're totally terrifying me now. I thought you were just teasing me.
Hang on. The mistake people make is that they swerve to miss the wave and they drive up in the bank. See that one there? So you're going to have to stop the car. Stop.
From the high Andes to the highest mountains in the world. On the trip north from Manali to Leh in the Indian Himalayas, the raw high-altitude scenery is unforgettable. Manali is in the Indian province of Himachal Pradesh, and Andrew is heading to Leh, the capital of Ladakh, or Little Tibet. The Manali to Leh road has only been open to foreigners since 1989 because of border tensions, and only half of it's paved, so it can be a rough ride. Buddhist prayer flags known as wind horses are strung along the roadside, evidence of the refugees who have been coming here since the 1959 Chinese invasion of Tibet. This area is virtually uninhabited, and as the journey takes at least 2 days, come prepared to camp out.
Chris and Bob have brought me to a place called Sarchu to camp. It's about 14,000 feet above sea level. It's freezing, and I've bought the wrong sleeping bag. I need a 4-season, not a 2-season, which is what I have. They've warned me about altitude sickness. So far I just feel sort of groggy, very sort of shallow breathing, but no headaches or anything. They've warned me about not being able to sleep, so I guess the best thing I can do is rug up and try and sleep. So fully clothed is the way it's going to be tonight. Very sensual. Good evening.
In the 19th century, the British built roads through this part of India in an attempt to divert the silk trade away from Kashmir. Like the roads, the plan failed. Roads here are still a problem. Workers from the impoverished Bihar region in the east of India spend 3 months at a time here before returning home with their pockets full with wages. Entering the region of Ladakh, the road descends into the Pang Gorge, where the rock formations are really incredible. The road levels out at 15,000 feet onto the Moray Plain, which is inhabited by nomadic herdsmen and their yaks. From there, it's a long ascent to the highest pass on our journey.
This is the second highest pass in the world. It's called the Tag Langla Pass. 17,500 feet, the closest I've ever been to God. And I feel absolutely terrible. I've got altitude sickness. My head's going to blow off. But this makes it all worthwhile.
Out in outback Australia, you need to be really well prepared for any trek. Pack for all eventualities.
This is the Tanami track, 1,000 kilometres of dirt road going through some of the most isolated spots in the whole of Australia and the Tanami Desert. If you're going to do the drive, you've got to be serious about it because it can be potentially dangerous. You need a radio linked up to the flying doctors. You need a good 4x4 truck, all your water, all your food, extra fuel, and most important of all, this, because in the morning, your breath is disgusting. Hit it!
The 600-mile Tanami track cuts right through the sparse desert, linking Alice Springs and Halls Creek in Western Australia.
It's advisable not to wander around the bush on your own. Always go with someone else, and especially someone that knows what they're doing. This is Andy, and he knows what he's doing in the bush. Isn't that right, Anne?
Yeah, mate.
What's that bush there?
It's Minifex grass.
Minifex grass? There you go.
The most important thing if you're going into the outback is to let somebody know your timetable and register with the police, who will inform your destination.
How long do you reckon it'd last in like the height of summer out here?
You
you're going to need at least a good litre of water per hour. It's about 40, 50 degrees out here in summer, so I'll give you about 9 hours without any water.
9 hours.
Don't be tempted to rely on the wells and boreholes along the way, as they're often contaminated.
This has got to be one of the remotest petrol stations and bars in the whole of Oz. It's called Rabbit Flat because it's in the middle of nowhere. Petrol costs loads of money. When's the sale on, Bruce? Petrol sale?
I can double it. Soon you got an English accent.
Rabbit Flat is the one refueling point on the track, and it's only open from Thursday to Sunday, so you'll need to plan your journey carefully.
The Tanami track passes through some of Australia's least populated country. Stop by the roadside just to pick up this snake, save it from getting run over, because that's what happens here. This is a black-headed python.
That's the one.
Crushes you to death in 2 minutes. I've been quite comfortable with this one. Yeah, look, you're not getting away from it. Come and have a sniff at this. Oh, where are you going? 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 Well, if I've got to do this, you can. There you go. You're comfy there? Yours is electric, isn't it? God, here you are. This is the best hotel in Australia. And it's the cheapest. Oh, lovely. Tell us a story, Anne.
And then there are those roads which are just plain impassable, even in the most rugged all-terrain vehicle. You can almost guarantee trouble with the roads in northern Pakistan, where the frequent landslides can really mess up your itinerary, as Neil Gibson finds out.
Major blockage on the road. Underneath that pile of rubble is the rest of the road.
And if you think this is bad, you should try the roads in Zaire. They've been described as the worst in the world. These conditions are normal, thanks to year-round rain. Nikki gets stuck in.
I picked this strapping lad called George up in Benny, and I thought he'd dig me out of the mud himself, but it looks like I'm going to have to help him.
Ok?
Yeah.
Faut enlever. C'est pas bon.
It's okay.
Enlève.
No.
Oui.
No.
C'est pas bon.
You want me to take my shoes off? No. I don't... Oh, great. Ugh. Now...
Comme ça.
I don't know how many of these holes we're going to have to dig.
Comme ça.
But we're not even halfway there yet.
Comme ça.
And I will need to get to Mount Toya because I'm going to go and see the pygmies. Which is why
Les pygmées, tu vas les voir.
George is with me. But I'm digging my own grave
No,
by the looks of things.
Par là.
Apparently this kind of road is completely normal. So you've got to expect this. Now, I did know this before I was going to come, but I didn't really expect it to be this hard work.
Long-distance taxis get you from A to B for a fee. On the upside, they run to your schedule, you've got local knowledge on tap, and you go where you want to, in theory. In Cameroon, the taxi drivers are reckless. They're taking your life in your hands.
Hi there. Right. Hi. Are you going to Treasure Beach?
Yeah, man.
Right.
In Jamaica, you may well travel in a wreck, as Ian finds out. Set the fare first, as most cabs are unmetered.
This is a typical rural Jamaican taxi, and believe it or not, they're a good alternative to local buses, which are very cheap but unreliable.
Air conditioning? Air conditioning? Air conditioning. This is not air conditioning, air cool. Natural air cool. Thanks. Yeah, natural air, yeah. I will take it as well.
In India, motorized rickshaws are a common way to get around. They're cheap, and the driver usually doubles as a tour guide.
Is this safe? Yeah, you are safe. No problem.
On the Ivory Coast, the long-distance taxis are called bakas. You meet the locals, but the car won't leave until every inch is filled. In Madagascar, 8 won't go into 6, apart from in one of their long-distance taxis.
They say the limit for the number of people in taxi Bruce in Madagascar is 1 more.
Everybody's stuff was loaded on the top. There were ducks and bikes, and everything was pushed under the seats, like huge boxes, so all your feet was on top of stuff. And some lady had 4 bed frames.
There were 7 people in a 3-person seat and a little kid with diarrhea next to me.
You can always buy an extra seat on the bus for next to nothing if you want a little bit extra space, which I would strongly advise.
Should be all right. Hope it doesn't rain.
And in Cambodia, comfort had better not be your priority.
We're picking up more people, yeah? Someone's got to say that there really is not much room left, you know? Quick, quick! The way this works is if you sit at the front, it costs a little bit more because you're in with a driver, but on the top here and down there, the top and down there is the same price. It's a good journey, yeah, good journey. A few more hours, though.
In Haiti, taxis are artworks on wheels.
Basically, if you want to go anywhere, just allow loads of time because you're never sure what the roads are going to do. There's huge traffic jams, there's no traffic lights that work.
And in Syria, you really see the sights.
The desert got small and bumpy roads. Best way to get across is in one of these smart little buggies. I mean, it's a bit slow, but at least you can take in the scenery and sunbathe. This is the Syrian desert, and most of the caravan trade had to come through here. So any oasis town on the way would become very prosperous. And Palmyra became one of the richest of the lot.
Back in Africa, Megan takes a ride in a trotro in Ghana. But don't expect a trotro stop. Flag one down as it passes, or find a crowd of people waiting at a roadside.
Accra is the capital of Ghana, and the cheapest way to get around is in one of these. It's called a trotro, and it's really inexpensive. It's about 200 cedis, which is less than a cent. And the challenge is you got to figure out which one is yours. So they kind of drive by really fast, yelling out the window the destination. And I hope this is to Accra. And you make lots of friends.
In Madagascar cities, practically every other car is a Renault 4 taxi, which is handy. And you can use them long distance to get out of town. Heading to Anavarano, 45 miles south of Diego, Ian samples an unexpected snack.
Señor, qu'est-ce que c'est? Monsieur, c'est cat. Cat. Les mangez, oui? Oui? Ah, oh, c'est bon. Oui, gracias. Here they call it cat, and they're like a stimulant. They sort of keep you awake, and also you lose your appetite. You see, people like to drive, they've got a big ball, like a golf ball inside your mouth. Got a long journey ahead of me, so I might as well munch crunch a few leaves. Bit like being a lemur.
Hi, my friend.
I have to hire it out. This is where I'm going. If you can, do you know this one? It's.
But if you want a slower pace, try one of the ox carts on the island of Ladigue in the Indian Ocean. They're traditional public transport, and if you're really chilling out, you can get one for a whole day. Mind you, that might not take you far.
Okay, we go. Johnny, Buze.
Is that the name of the... Is that Johnny?
Yeah, the name of the boat is called Johnny Be Good. Yeah.
Johnny Be Good?
Yeah. Ooh, oops, 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 oops.
Life on the island's just a little bit slow, yeah? So even though it's going to take a bit of time, it's the way to travel, isn't it?
They said that life on the island is like oxen car. Slowly, we don't rush.
Yeah.
But for me, it's good. It's a good idea.
If I fall asleep, wake me up when we get to the beach, yeah?
Yeah. It's good. We don't rush.
Is he a bit wild, that bull?
No. Johnny, it's a calm bull with me, but he do not want tourists to touch him.
Yeah.
Because when he's working, he don't want people to touch him. Eh?
Yeah, fair enough. I wouldn't touch him.
Buses. In many parts of the world, they don't leave on time, they don't arrive on time, and they're not very comfortable. But for any self-respecting road warrior, they're still the most popular way to get around on a budget. In Mozambique, now that the civil war's over, buses are enjoying a comeback.
400 miles down the road, 9 hours, $20. Woo, can't wait. I'll grab us some apples. Yeah, that'd be nice. Get that guy. I want some super glue, a toothbrush, a comb, a torch, a key ring. There's nothing that they don't sell. I'm heading 400 miles up the coastal road to the beach resort of Vilanculo, the gateway to the stunning Bazaruto archipelago. It's my first taste of the roads in Mozambique. I better get used to them because I've got a long, long way to go. Where are you going?
To visit my friend, no?
Your family?
Yeah. My parents, basically.
Yeah. How far up do they live?
I think it's 1,050 kilometers.
How long's that journey?
2 days.
2 days?
2 days.
2 days, and there's me complaining.
A crafty invention in China means Justine can sleep her way through long journeys. The only trouble is how to find the right sleeper bus. Air conditioning, videos, and snacks are all included. On the downside, bed bugs and very short beds.
It's an amazing idea, these sleeper buses. I haven't seen them anywhere else in the world. And considering this is a 24-hour drive to Jihong, it's certain to be much less of a nightmare than otherwise would have been.
You wouldn't want to sleep through this one, though. A bus trip through the Simien Mountains in northern Ethiopia.
Oh, God. Last seat on the bus. All mine. Yeah. Sheila? Sheila? The journey from Axum via Shira to Lalibela is rarely travelled because of the rough roads, but it's well worth it for the views. And it's not surprising that all the locals have got off, because it's 8 hours in intense heat. But it's one of the best journeys in the whole of Africa.
Here on the rooftop of Africa, some points reach 4,000 meters. The mountains were formed 40 million years ago when molten lava poured out of the Earth's surface. Over the years, erosion has left the dramatic spires sticking up out of the surrounding landscape. It's great trekking country, and the best time to come is between October and March.
We're getting this bus to Trujillo. It's supposed to leave at 7 o'clock. I'll believe that when I see it. We're going to pass through one of the most dangerous roads in Peru now, the Canyon del Pato. Dun, dun, dun.
Traveling through the Andes of Peru, Neil is following the Rio Santa Canyon from Huaraz and then on to Trujillo on the coast.
Check if the road is open with the tourist office in Huaraz before setting off. It's often closed due to landslides or the sheer bad quality of the road surface.
As well as being the main road for buses, it's also the main thoroughfare for farmers. And when goats block the track, there's only one way to move them.
Bandits can sometimes be a problem too. In the 1980s, the road was closed to tourists due to terrorist activity by the Shining Path guerrillas.
This is by far the best way to travelling, on top of an old bus in the luggage compartment. It certainly blows the cobwebs away, and the scenery is better than any movie I've ever seen. The only problem is, every now and again, you're forced to do this. Duck!
There are an amazing 39 tunnels between Huaraz and Trujillo, and the only encounters these days are with the occasional tourist.
What do you think of Peru? Excellent! Nice one.
The geography of Papua New Guinea is so rugged that flying is the main way to get around, but Jonathan has managed to find a rare bus. There are over 1,000 different tribes on the islands, and the people of the highlands often hold so-called sing-sings, or music festivals, where performers take on animal spirits or reenact intertribal battles.
Hi, oh, Fred. Hi, Uncle. I'm Jonathan. I'm John. John, same name. Almost. Right. Just tell me, this guy's not going to hit me with that axe, is he? It's a mudman. He's a mudman? Yeah. Is this his mud? That's right. It's a clay. It's mud? Yes. Ah, is it? And what's this made of? Clay. Clay. Must be heavy. Can I feel? Is it okay? Okay. It's not... Wow. A bit heavy. You go to the show, Garoka show? Man, that is really heavy. Yeah, heavy. How can you wear this? You must be very strong, huh? Yeah. I think so. He's gonna put it on his head. Yeah? Can I see? Yeah. He's going to break his neck with that. It's about 20 pounds. Wow, that is impressive.
There are only 3 buses a week from Ulaanbaatar to Karakoram, and they're incredibly cheap. Only $3 for a 300-mile ride.
The journey from Ulaanbaatar to Karakoram should take 7 hours.
Look at this, I've only been going 2 hours and the thing's broken down. Or it's run out of petrol or something.
My bus trip from Ulaanbaatar to Karakoram lasted 12 hours. It was supposed to be like 7 or 8 hours, but we broke once.
Well, it's been 3 hours now and I'm a bit bored of the sun, getting a bit red, so I'll give up. I'm going to get my bag and start hitching.
You're not a real road warrior unless you've hitchhiked at least once in your life. Hitching is the backpacker's way. It's sociable, it's green, and it's perfect if you run out of cash. Ian is a master of the art. We join him in Baja, California to see how it's done.
Well, I'm on the way to Bahia de Los Angeles. The trouble is the bus has just dropped me off here, and the only way to get there is with that. That's one technique that gets the attention, but...
Here are the ground rules for the intelligent thumber. Present a clean appearance. Don't carry a huge amount of luggage, and stand where you can be clearly sized up. In 1910, when hitchhikers first came onto the scene, they were referred to as auto tramps. Some things never change.
This is how you get a lift in Jordan. Although there's not many cars, you're always guaranteed a lift because the Bedouin people are dead friendly. Hopefully. Yeah. Ooh. It's okay, yeah? The trouble is, even if you do get a lift, you ain't got a clue where you're going.
In some parts of the world, hitching is illegal. Check with the tourist office before you try. If you do decide to flag down a ride, do what they do in Australia and get one in a commercial truck. And if you pick up a ride at a truck stop, you're more likely to be in safe hands.
Well, it was always a tradition hitchhiking in Australia, but over the last few years, because there's been a few troubles here and there, it's not as acceptable anymore. There's a few backpackers murdered on the Hume Highway. There's just so many deviants driving around there, you've got to be careful who you get in with. So I think that's why the truckies are probably the safest. The truckies will always give you a ride. If I shout them a meal, that's fine. Some of the truckies don't tend to pick up backpackers anymore because they feel that they're getting a free trip. You know, they borrow cigarettes from you, or they want a meal, or they want a coffee, or they want to lie down in your bed, or put their feet on your dash. Well, they don't like that, so...
But you're not going to put your feet on a dashboard if you thumb a lift in the high Atlas Mountains of Morocco. Here, you can get a ride in an old Berlier wagon, one of those left behind by the French when Morocco became independent. But it's tough enough to carry men and animals up the twisting mountain roads. But the classic hitcher's journey has to be in the rooftop baggage compartment of a vintage Bedford truck in northern Pakistan.
At last, a truck approaches.
When it comes to pure over-the-top decoration, Pakistan's long-haul trucks are the kings of the road. The tradition comes from the days of mule and camel caravans, when charms and prayers were thought to keep danger at bay.
This is the Karakoram Highway. It's long, it's twisty, and it runs all the way to China. It's also locally called the KKH, and local folklore has it, one person died per kilometre during the construction of this road. I'm just hoping I'm not going to be the next person to die. You want some pizza?
This is a hopping off point for some of the world's highest peaks. Despite recent troubles here, it is still possible to visit, but check on conditions first. The lure of the open road, the wind in your hair, the flies between your teeth. If you've got what it takes, take two wheels. And if you don't feel like driving yourself, why not try a sidecar? In Cuba, the roads are quiet ever since Russia stopped supplying free oil. In Vietnam, you can rent a sidecar dating from the 60s war. As for Uzbekistan, well, just make sure you leave plenty of time.
This is certainly one way to cross the desert. It might be one of the hardest. You get sun-soaked, you get dust in your eyes, but I love it.
A sidecar is also known as a combination, a hack, a rig, or a chair. It was originally devised in the early 20th century as a way to take the wife and kids along.
Within a short time, sand gets in the engine and a breakdown is more than likely. Keep calm, drink lots of water, and hang on to your sense of humour.
In India, the classic Enfield is still made, and you can buy or rent one easily. And that's just what Andrew does.
Okay, Lally, I'm riding to Rishikesh. What are my options for hiring?
You can have scooters, you can have 100cc motorcycles, 250cc also is possible.
And this is a good one?
This is a very good motorcycle.
The brakes work?
Oh, everything works.
Okay,
I can take you for a test.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Be warned, You have to be very careful riding in India. Roads are bad and crammed with traffic, and animals doing their own thing.
So, you think you look good in leather? Harley-Davidsons are an all-American icon and symbolic of the ultimate road trip. There's something about a Harley. Could it be the sound of a large V-twin engine through straight pipes at full throttle? Or is it to do with the customized low-slung saddle and high handlebars of the chopper? Maybe it's the company a Harley biker keeps. Perhaps you've just been watching too many 60s road movies. Whatever. Out of the 6 million motorbike owners in the U.S., 500,000 of them are Harley bikers, and most of them drive thousands of miles to make it to biker meets like this one. Ian becomes king of the road for the day on an organized tour of the Rockies, which costs $200, including meals and lodging. He's going from Deadwood in South Dakota, cutting across the corner of Wyoming, and heading to Little Bighorn in Montana. You do have to take a bike test before you're allowed to use one of their precious beasts.
It reminds me of the bike that I rode to high school when I was a boy. And motorcycling's the only thing I brought forward from a misspent youth.
What's the good about riding then? Why'd you all do it? What's it all about?
Just hang out with us. We'll show you.
Yeah?
Come with us. Hang out.
One of the highlights of the trip is that it passes Devil's Tower, which rises 1,200 feet above the surrounding plain. Devil's Tower is sacred to Native Americans, who call it Bear Lodge. The columns in the tower were believed to have been scratched by a giant bear. Meanwhile, Justine's in New Mexico.
I'm on my way to Taos. Now, there are a few ways I could go. There's the bus, boring. Hitchhiking, risky. But you know, there are a lot of people riding motorcycles around here, and to be honest, ever since I saw that movie Easy Rider, it's been a little fantasy of mine.
So, there you go. You don't have to be a big hairy bloke to ride a Harley.
From Taos, I head south to Roswell. It's about a 7-hour ride. On the way, you pass one of the most famous landmarks in American military history. That's the White Sands Missile Range. And just beyond it is Trinity Site, where they dropped the first atomic bomb. Now, it says in the book that you can visit this area, but it also says that they close the roads on occasion because of tests. Tests. I don't know, this place kind of gives me the creeps. And I'm sure there are unhealthy levels of radiation in that direction, so I'm just going to carry on in that direction. Another 120 miles to go before I get to Roswell. That place is really out there. Roswell is now world famous for a mysterious UFO incident in 1947. Eyewitnesses claim to have spotted aliens in a UFO crash landing just outside the town.
I think there's a good possibility that something did happen.
Well, something happened, but I don't know. They don't want to say anything.
One thing for sure in my mind is one hit the ground over there. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
I don't think anything happened.
It's a publicity stunt.
2,000 miles further south in Central America, Costa Rica is renowned for its rainforests and reserves. It's not a place you would necessarily associate with Harley-Davidson, but it is in fact a great way to see the country, as Neil discovers.
If you can't ride, you can get yourself a guide. And this is mine, Paul.
How you doing, Neil?
Fine.
Ready to see the most incredible country in the world?
Yeah.
Today we're going to cross the continental divide. We're going to go through 5 different geographical areas. We're going to see mountains, rivers, animals, exploding volcanoes, rainforests. Do you think you're man enough to do it by Harley?
I think so.
Andale, orale, Monteverde, here we come.
Over a quarter of Costa Rica is protected by national reserves. One of the most famous is the Monteverde Cloud Forest Reserve. It's a 3-hour drive to get there, and another 3 hours to Volcan Arenal.
Okay, Neil, we're headed up to Heredia now, coffee country. In about 45, 50 minutes, we'll be in the rainforest. Little by little, it gets more tropical until you're just in an amazing wonderland.
Is it going to get hotter as well?
It gets cold and hot, cold and hot. There's mini climates all over Costa Rica. It's a beautiful place. So good. Here we go. Look at all the fauna and flora.
No matter where you are in the world, Harley bikers all seem intent on proving their manliness.
Well, now here we are in the Costa Rican rainforest, and when we're here, we like to drink a little cup of coffee and play a little game. Are you a real Harley man? Hola, ¿cómo está?
I think so, yeah.
Think so. Here's our little friend. He's a tarantula, rainforest tarantula.
Oh, my God.
Like a nice pet. Real men put them on their heads, Neil. Right on your forehead. Yeah, you! Hey. He's going. All right, Neil. All right now.
Okay, who's going to take it off now?
Neil.
All right. You can get off my head now.
You're a real Harley man now, Neil.
So I can ride your Harley now then, Paul?
You can ride my Harley now.
Great.
And if you eat him, I'll give you a Harley for free.
Not a chance.
Road warriors can take bike trips with or without a Harley, and you don't necessarily have to look like a warrior to do them.
No visor.
Sunglasses?
Yeah, I've got some.
Sunglasses, yeah.
Be all right, do you reckon?
Yeah.
Not going to get big flies in the eyes.
Yeah, you want to watch for that.
Does that look good?
Looks good.
Do I look as good as you guys?
Almost. Nearly, but you know, you're not a biker.
The annual Paris to Dakar motorcycle race has made Morocco popular with riders. Roads are good here, and gas is cheap. We're heading down the Dardes Valley to Zagora. The road follows the route of 1,000 Kasbahs, an ancient caravan trail that runs out to the desert.
The Kasbahs along this route are the fortified towns built by Berbers as defense against thieves and invaders. Some of them are 1,000 years old and rank amongst North Africa's most impressive architecture.
Arriving in Zagora late that afternoon, we'd ridden almost 120 miles. Up there. All right, have a good trip, yeah? Maybe I'll see you down the road sometime. Yeah.
Another great bike trip is on Reunion, a sheer and lush island in the middle of the Indian Ocean. It's located on the volcanic hotspot, which also formed the island of Mauritius nearby.
I ride out of Helbourg to Saint-Denis and circle the island west to Saint-Pierre, then along zigzagging mountain roads towards the Piton de la Fournaise volcano.
The volcano is one of the most active in the world. It last erupted in September 2006, so sometimes the roads on the eastern side of the island are closed.
at that. That's incredible. That really is like a lunar landscape. Like being on the moon. Woo!
Our intrepid road warriors have explored India's high peaks, Bolivia's salt flats, and Australia's deserts. But just what are the top 5 road trips to take before you die? At number 5, the bus ride through the Simien Mountains in Ethiopia. At number 4, the Manali to Leh road in India. At number 3, a long-distance taxi ride past Palmyra in Syria. Number 2, Neil's rooftop ride along the Canyon del Pacto in Peru. And at number 1, our favorite road trip, the route of 1,000 Casbahs in Morocco.